Shalom Akim. It's your brother Malcolm from the branch of GMS here in Chicago. Coming at you in another lesson of truth. All right. Giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who are the true leaders of all Israel on earth today. And salutations and honors to the Akim on the four corners of the earth that are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. To you, I say shalom. I'm going to go into a lesson about the Hametic myth. And I watched a couple videos, and I'm going to give you some names that you know you should write down and go look up. There's a brother named Professor, what's his name? I wrote it down. Professor Tony Martin. All right, he definitely is an Israelite, and basically, he went into the history of the slave trade and how the Jews were controlling it, and how he was a professor of Black history, and he taught in colleges and universities. And he came on a lot of fire when he started teaching this, and he was using other books and outside sources, of course, because Esau controls information, and the reason this story I found intriguing to myself is because I had a very similar experience learning as a teenager that the Israelites was a dark race of people. Actually going to school with in the 7th and 8th grade with with people who were actually referring to themselves as Hebrew Israelites. And one of these particular people, a girl, has been my friend ever since. We've pretty, we don't hang out and stuff like that, but I would see every now and then, here and there, and we talk and chat on the phone every blue moon. But and her brothers were, they wore the Hebrew dress. They didn't wear regular clothes like everybody did. And this was like, in the 80s, man, when I was a kid. And people, poke fun at them and that sort of thing. But the truth of the matter is they had it right all along. And it's interesting the conversations that we have now, but then how they're so distant from it. But she still believes that she is a Hebrew Israelite, and she believed that what I'm doing was right and noble, but yet she had one foot in the world and one, because the truth of the matter is she was my first and real wife. Understanding what a wife is, because when we were kids, that's what happened. But which is probably why we stayed friends, why we still would talk. But she's got one foot in the world, and and I don't deal with her for that reason, and haven't, won't cross that line, because she's in the world. But nevertheless, this guy Professor Tony, he was featured on another guy's video called what's the guy's name, was David Irving. And David Irving is a historian, an Edomite historian, man, and he's famous for being a Holocaust denier and presenting the proof and the truth that the story that is told to the world is a fabricated version. And he's, and going into all this history about Hitler, not that I could give a damn about Hitler, to hell with Hitler. He was just another Edomite who was a victim of his own people, who got labeled, this horrible person, because he was going against the status quo. The Jewish were trying to set up their banking systems and rule over the world, and I guess that was, I don't know the full story. That was, being launched out of Germany, and he was trying to get in the way of that. So he's been demonized. All right. But let's jump into it, because one of the subject matter that he talked about was the Hametic myth. All right. And how the Hametic myth was spun from the Talmud. Okay. And that there was another guy. What's his name? His name is Harold Bachman, PhD. Harold Bachman. So, and Harold Bachman was the first person to really push that, because I remember hearing that when I was a kid about the curse of Ham, and that's why black people went into captivity. And Esau always tries to group, that's what he did. He grouped everybody dark together and came up with the three different races, because this Harold Bachman basically he was pushing that Shem was the father of the Asian race, Japhet was the father of the white race. That's why you have Ashkenazi Jews. This is why everybody is so confused. Those are all lies. And that Ham was the forefather of everyone that was dark. But the truth of the matter is all nations were dark. All right? You got Indians today, East Indian people, who are just as dark and darker than some Africans. I've seen them with my own eyes, see them all the time, but yet they're not called black. So that was all a line of creation. So let me get a scripture, man, because that story came out of the Talmud. All right? And and I had to give you the monologue before I got to start to read the scriptures, just to set the whole stage for what was happening here. But this is Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of Yahweh and read, none of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit is gathered, it hath gathered them. So the prophecies in this book and the history in this book is true and accurate. And everything else is hearsay. All right. Now, if it's coming from a book and it matches up with secular history, that matches up with the Bible, then you got something that you can depend on and work with. But the Hametic myth is exactly that, as Professor Robbins referred to it. Okay. And then, in the true fashion of a Jake, Professor Robbins approached or came at Professor Harold Bachman, this fake Jew. And when he did it, he recanted his statements, man. But it's too late, because he actually, in his what do you call it? His PhD dissertation of Harold Bachman in 1977, he already wrote a book, man. And the information I'm talking about is on page 34. Okay? And I think it's called now I'm forgetting it. Let me see if I wrote it down. But yeah, I guess you could just look up his name, because I'm telling you this because I want people to challenge this. And so, because there's going to be people that scoff and put their stupid comments on the comment board, but those people won't do any research or go look anything up, or they'll go look up totally whitewashed information like that of Professor Bachman. But once you challenge it and bring out real history and challenge it, people begin to shut down. And that's exactly what Professor Tony Martin did, because once he got in trouble for teaching the truth, he started challenging the people who was coming against him, and then people started backing down, because the history that he was presenting was true and accurate. You can't, the truth speaks for itself, man. All right. But Professor Bachman retracted his statements, man. And just to show you how much of a liar the Esau is, this is a children's book. I said I was going to go into this book. All right. And according to Esau, this is David and Goliath. Now, I wrote a couple scriptures on here. And that whole Hametic myth thing, that would be impossible, because according to the scriptures, the Canaanites were black. But according to Bachman's thing, he even says that the Canaanites are blacks. But when you go watch Hollywood movies, the Canaanites, such as Goliath, are always portrayed as white. Why is that? The Egyptians are always portrayed as white. Why is that? All right? Or so-called white, I should say. Because there's no such thing as white. There's, different shades of red, different shades of brown. Okay? Because in order for the Canaanites, how you going to portray in the movies that the Canaanites are white, but then yet push the curse of Ham? When Canaan is the son of Ham, and you say that Ham is the forefather of all the dark races. But yet every time you show your movies, you portray Goliath and the Philistines as so-called white people, as Caucasians, all right? And the Israelites. Why? Because both people were dark in reality and in truth. And I got some scriptures written here that I'm going to read, all right? And this is a simple and basic, cut to the heart right out the gate. But first thing let's get Amos and 7. I'm going to read the scriptures, then I'm going to present the evidence, which the scoffers may not even last to that part of the video. They're just going to scoff and turn it off. because when the evidence come out, they don't want to hear or see that part. All right. Are ye not as the children of the this is Amos 9:7. Are ye not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? Saith Yahweh, have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Kaphar, and the Syrians from Ker? All right. Now, as you see in this picture, you can't tell the difference between the Philistine and the Israelite. Problem is that they're the wrong skin tone, according to truth and history, according to the relics, and according to the scriptures. Okay? This is Genesis 10:6. Okay? Genesis 10:6, and it reads, the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Well, got that old trusty Egypt history and treasures of the ancient civilization right there before you. And there you go. You can look on the back. Those are your Hamites. All right. Okay. As you can look, you're looking on the back of the book. Those are your Hamites right there, man. Okay. And let's turn to see some of the armies of Philistia. This is probably like the 10th time this image has come out. But you know what? I'm going to keep bringing it out, man, until you get it. Okay? There it is. Hold on, man. Salakia. All right? So there you go. All right? Those are your armies of Philistia, man. Okay? Those are your armies of Philistia. I'm going to keep, and you know what? I really, really like this book, man. Why? Because here, this is Genesis 10:14. And Pathrusim and Caphlam, and out of whom came Philistine and Caphartum. All right. As a matter of fact, let me read up one more scripture, verse 13, to Genesis 10:13. And Mizraim begot Ludum and Anam and Luban and Naphputim and Perusim and Caphlam, and out of whom came Philistim. All right. So the Philistines were in fact Egyptians, and all through this book, you can see the Egyptians being a Negro type with woolly hair and cornrows and braids. Okay, all through this book, all the way up until you see the Ptolemies come in, and that's when you begin to see white people. But that was after the Ptolemaic takeover, not prior. So here are the relics that were dug up and put in museums that are still around to this day. All right. These are actually the Israelites. They were sheep herders. So they're showing you the Israelites coming in to Egypt and into the land of Egypt, man. All right. So Esau is a liar, man. All right, let's flip the page. Okay, this is Solomon, supposedly. And there's a story with the woman with the babies. Everybody's Edomites, man. All right. We got cheetahs with collars on. You know, everybody's Edomites, man. Solomon is a white guy. When so-called, when all through the scriptures it talks about the dark flesh of Solomon. All right, and let's just get a quick scripture to kill that lie. And let's go to the Song of Solomon. Okay. This comes after Psalms, the books of Ecclesiastes, and Solomon. Solomon 1:5. And it reads, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. All right. Solomon tells you he's black. And we just looked at the images of the Israelites in this book. portrayed in ornaments that were dug up, and also on the caves of the wall in Thebes. And they showed you Negroid type people, different shades of brown, with cornrows, with braids, and with afros. All right, noses like mine. Okay, thick lips. But look what Esau does. All right, that's supposed to be King Solomon sitting on his throne judging the people. Okay, Esau's a liar, man, and he gets mad when you point it out. Okay, more Israelites in slavery. There they are, building the bricks for the pyramids, man. Which Esau even tried to deny that. He tried to say that the Hamites, peasants, were building it. No, the Hamites were living well, man. The Israelites were working for them, free labor. Okay. Let's get another quick scripture. Okay. Let's get Lamentations 4:8. Another scripture I actually like because it's straight to the point. You know, Lamentations is pretty much a cut and dry scripture. Just right before Ezekiel. This is Lamentation 4:8. Their visage, meaning when you look at them, their faces, is blacker than a coal. So we all know what a coal looks like. A lump of coal. All right? They are not known in the streets because they're called by all these other names. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withereth and it become like a stick. All right? They were skinny and starving, man. All right? Because of the famine. Okay? These people's faces are not dark as a coal, man. And so, in books, in movies, in Hollywood, and in animation, Esau lies. And this is why the masses believe in lies, man. All right? So one more thing. This is a book by Frank M. Snowden Jr. called Blacks in Antiquity. And basically, you know, when I read the other day, the last video about in the Josephus, how the kingdom of Greece was translated from these dark Etruscan people to these Edomite people. And that's basically what the cover of this book is showing you. All right, and it was, and you know, and it goes to tell you how the Alexander the Macedonian were translating one king, you know, the kingdom to their own, man, as if they were people derived from themselves. Well, once again, just to show you, in Hollywood, and this is a very good movie if you've never seen it, especially the director's cut. Don't even watch the regular version. You have to see the director's cut of this movie, Troy. But there it is. If you look at the arrow, okay, the arrow is pointing to the king known as Memnon, all right, and his brother, all right. That's Memnon. That's supposed to be his brother. That's King Memnon. Brad Pitt plays Achilles. He plays the king of Troy, and Eric Bana plays the prince of Troy. But Memnon, pay attention to Memnon, because in this book, here are it says detailed heads of Memnon and Negroes from the black figured neck amphora. So here are the relics that were dug up. Okay, especially looking at this guy and all of them. These are Memnon soldiers, man. Right here, there's Memnon in the middle with his shield, with the Trojan. But see, when you see that Trojan, that headdress, usually seeing so-called white people attached to that. Because you go to any school in Babylon here in America, and you'll see schools that call themselves Romans, or the like Latin school here in Chicago. It's a white guy with his face like that. You see the Romans wore that dress, but they weren't the first. The first people were those dark skinned Etruscans, like these people right here. They had those Negroid type features, man. Hey, so the so-called white man, who is Esau Edom? is a liar. All right. I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors unto the apostles, the true, and the elders, true leaders of all Israel on earth today. And salutations to you, Akim, all right, and you few Akwaf that are watching and learning. Shalom.